Yo, what's good, fight fans? Welcome back to Ring Ruler, the home of the hardest-hitting boxing content on YouTube. Today, we're diving into an absolute banger of a fight that had the boxing world on fire: Gervonta "Tank" Davis versus Frank "The Ghost" Martin. This clash went down on June 15, 2024, at the iconic MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, marking the 100th championship boxing event at that legendary venue. It was a pay-per-view spectacle streamed on Prime Video, and let me tell you, it lived up to every bit of the hype. Tank, the WBA lightweight champion, faced off against the undefeated Frank Martin in a showdown that promised fireworks. Was this the night Tank solidified his pound-for-pound dominance, or could Martin pull off the upset of the year? We're breaking down the most electrifying moments, and trust me, you don't want to miss the knockout that's still blowing up on social media. So, smash that like button, hit subscribe to Ring Ruler, and let's get right into the action. Picture this. The MGM Grand is buzzing, the crowd's electric, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Gervonta Davis, the Baltimore knockout machine with a record of 29-0, 27 KOs, hadn't fought in 14 months since his massive win over Ryan Garcia. He was coming off a stint in jail and a long layoff, but Tank looked sharper than ever during fight week. Across the ring, Frank "The Ghost" Martin, 18-0 with 12 KOs, was stepping into his first world title shot. Trained by Derek James, the same coach behind Errol Spence Jr., Martin was a slick southpaw with speed, footwork, and a chip on his shoulder. These two had history, too. They'd sparred years ago, and the bad blood was real. Tank even trolled Martin by walking to the ring in Ghostbusters gear, complete with a proton pack, signaling he was ready to bust the Ghost. The stage was set for a classic: Tank's devastating power versus Martin's elusive boxing. Who'd come out on top? Let's dive into the fight. As the bell rang for round one, you could feel the tension in the air. Martin came out sharp, using his jab and footwork to keep Tank at a distance. He was circling, popping that lead hand, trying to make Davis chase him. Tank, calm as ever, was stalking his prey, probing with his own jab but mostly studying Martin's movement. The crowd was hyped, but it was a chess match early on. Martin landed a couple of clean shots, showing he wasn't intimidated, while Tank's menacing stare told you he was just warming up. On Ring Ruler, we love these tactical opening rounds because they set the tone for the chaos to come. By round two, Martin was still boxing beautifully, using angles to slip Tank's counters and landing a crisp 1-2 combo. The Ghost was showing why he was undefeated, frustrating Tank with his speed. But Davis, with that veteran savvy, started cutting off the ring. You could see him adjusting, throwing more body shots to slow Martin down. There was a moment where Tank landed a sneaky right hook that made Martin pause, and the crowd roared. It was like Tank was saying, "You can run, but you can't hide." The swelling under Tank's right eye started to show, though Martin's jab was doing work. If you're new to Ring Ruler, this is what was investing early. Fast forward to round 5, and the fight was heating up. Tank turned predator, trapping Martin against the ropes and unloading a barrage of hooks. A right to the body, a left to the head. Martin was feeling the pressure. The Ghost fired back with a slick counter, catching Tank with a check hook, but Davis's chin held up. The crowd was on its feet as Tank started to impose his will. Martin's footwork was still sharp, but you could see his legs slowing under Tank's relentless stalking. The MGM Grand was rocking, and if you're watching this on Ring Ruler, you know this is the kind of action that makes boxing the greatest sport on earth. Round 6 was where Tank's dominance started to shine. He was chopping Martin down like a tree, targeting the body with surgical precision. A double left hook, one to the ribs, one to the head, had Martin wincing. The Ghost was still dangerous, landing a quick 3-punch combo to keep Tank honest, but Davis was walking through fire. The stats showed Tank landing 51% of his power shots now, while Martin's output was dropping. You could sense the tide. turning, and the ring ruler community knows what that means. Tank was setting up something big. By round 7, Martin was fighting on Hart. Tank cornered him and unleashed a vicious flurry. Left hands, right hooks, body shots. Martin survived, but his face told the story. He was tiring, and Tank's pressure was suffocating. Davis was landing 53% of his power punches, an insane clip for a fighter of his caliber. Martin tried to rally with a jab-cross combo, but Tank's defense was airtight, slipping and rolling with ease. The crowd was chanting, "Tank! Tank!" as Davis strutted back to his corner, knowing he had Martin on the ropes, figuratively and literally. On Ring Ruler, we break down these moments because they show why Tank is a generational talent. Then came round 8, the moment that broke the internet. Tank smelled blood and went for the kill. He backed Martin into a corner, feinted with a jab, and then, boom, landed a rapier left uppercut that froze the ghost. Martin's legs buckled, and before he could recover, Tank unleashed a devastating left cross. Martin crashed to the canvas, out cold at 1:29 of round 8. The MGM Grand erupted and Tank climbed the ropes, pounding his chest as the crowd lost it. That knockout was pure cinema, the kind of highlight you'll see on Ring Ruler replays for years to come. As the dust settled, Tank celebrated doubts about ring rust or his layoff. That knockout was everywhere. X, Instagram, TikTok, and it's still trending as one of the best KOs of 2024. For Martin, 18-1, this was a tough loss. But at 29 years old, he showed he belongs at the elite level. The boxing world is buzzing about what's next. Tank calling out Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson, or maybe a move to 140 pounds. On Ring Ruler, we're already debating who Tank should fight next, so drop your thoughts in the comments. This fight was a reminder of why we love boxing. The drama, the skill, the heart, and those unforgettable moments that leave your jaw on the floor.